friends. So today we'll discuss the topic gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is an important essay question and we'll discuss this topic under the following headings: the definition, substrates of gluconeogenesis, steps, regulation, and energetics. Gluconeogenesis is the process by which glucose molecules are produced from non-carbohydrate precursors. Gluconeogenesis occurs mainly in the liver and to some extent in the renal cortex. The significance comes from the fact that gluconeogenesis maintains the blood glucose level during starvation. So, after the initial glycogen is depleted up, gluconeogenesis maintains the blood glucose, and the major substrates are the glucogenic amino acids. Coming to substrates for gluconeogenesis, they are 4 in number: lactate, glucogenic amino acids, glycerol, and propionyl CoA. Among them, lactate and glucogenic amino acids are the most important. First, lactate. So, lactate is initially formed in the muscle and then further transported to liver. Lactate is converted to pyruvate with the help of the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase, and this step utilizes NAD. NAD is converted to NADH plus H plus. Glucogenic amino acids can be remembered as all except leucine and lysine, which are the ketogenic amino acids. So glucogenic amino acids, they are converted to various substrates of the TCA cycle. Some of the examples are succinyl-CoA formed from methionine and valine, alpha-ketoglutarate formed from glutamine, glutamic acid, arginine and proline, fumarate formed from phenylalanine, tyrosine, asparagine and aspartic acid, oxaloacetate formed again from aspartic acid and asparagine, and pyruvate is directly formed from alanine, glycine, serine and cysteine. Among all these amino acids, alanine is the most important. Glucogenic amino acids are converted to substrates by transamination into their carbon skeletons that enter the TCA cycle. So there are 2 cycles to remember. One is Cori cycle. Cori cycle is a process by which lactate formed in the muscle is carried by blood to the liver, converted to pyruvate and glucose by gluconeogenesis, and transported back to the muscle and utilized for energy. Cahill cycle is also known as the glucose-alanine cycle. The only difference is that instead of lactate, alanine is formed in the muscle, which is further converted back to glucose in the liver by gluconeogenesis. The third substrate is glycerol. Glycerol is converted to glycerol 3-phosphate by glycerol kinase and further to dihydroxyacetone phosphate by glycerol 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. The first step requires ATP and the second step NAD+. Glycerol is obtained from fat, and the fourth substrate is propionyl CoA. Propionyl CoA is obtained from odd-chain fatty acid. The important fact to remember is that even-chain fatty acid cannot be converted into glucose. Only odd-chain fatty acids can form glucose. So propionyl CoA is converted to succinyl CoA by the following reaction. Propionyl CoA is initially converted to d-methylmalonyl CoA by the enzyme propionyl CoA carboxylase. Carboxylation reactions require biotin as a cofactor and also carbon dioxide. D-methylmalonyl CoA is converted to L-methylmalonyl CoA by the racemase enzyme, and L-methylmalonyl CoA is converted to succinyl CoA by L-methylmalonyl CoA mutase, which requires vitamin B12 as the cofactor. Succinyl CoA then enters the TCA cycle and is converted to oxaloacetate. Coming to regulation of gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis and glycolysis, they are opposite reactions and hence they are reciprocally regulated. The important steps are pyruvate carboxylase. Pyruvate carboxylase enzyme converts pyruvate to oxaloacetate. However, pyruvate can also be converted to acetyl-CoA by the enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase. Acetyl-CoA is an allosteric activator of the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase, so that when acetyl-CoA level is high, gluconeogenesis is favored. The second reaction, fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, is activated by citrate and inhibited by AMP and fructose 2,6-phosphate. Fructose 2,6-phosphate is converted back to fructose 6-phosphate by another similar enzyme called as fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase. This is exactly the opposite in case of phosphofructokinase. Phosphofructokinase is an important step in glycolysis that converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Phosphofructokinase is inhibited by citrate and activated by AMP and fructose 2,6-phosphate. This is an example of reciprocal regulation of glycolysis and gluconeogenesis. We can also infer from this that ATP favors gluconeogenesis. The last part is the enzyme regulation of gluconeogenesis. So this occurs by two processes. One is induction and repression, and second by covalent modification or by phosphorylation. Glucocorticoids and glucagon, they favor gluconeogenesis by induction of enzyme as well as by phosphorylation by increasing the level of CAMP. Whereas insulin is the exact opposite. It inhibits the enzymes of gluconeogenesis by repression and by dephosphorylation. Glucagon and insulin also exert reciprocal regulation with the help of enzyme fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase and phosphofructokinase 2. Fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase converts fructose 2,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate, whereas phosphofructokinase 2 converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 2,6-bisphosphate. So glucagon, by favoring the reaction fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase, decreases the level of fructose 2,6-bisphosphate, which is a negative regulator of gluconeogenesis. Whereas insulin favors the reaction phosphofructokinase 2 and increases the level of fructose 2,6-bisphosphate, which inhibits gluconeogenesis. Energetics of gluconeogenesis. ATP utilizing reactions are three: catalyzed by pyruvate carboxylase, phosphenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and phosphoglycerate kinase. They require 1 ATP each. So, since 2 number of pyruvate is required for the final synthesis of glucose, each of these steps multiplied by 2 gives a total utilization of 6 ATPs. No ATP is synthesized during gluconeogenesis, and 2 NADH is also utilized. So, the final energetics is the utilization of 6 ATP plus 2 NADH.